You ready?
Yeah. So, I had a bit of a traumatic childhood, and some people see this as a bad thing, but I see it as a good thing. It's training on how not to be an adult when I grow up. One of my coping strategies was to imagine my family as people from TV and films, which might sound a bit weird, but it helped me. Obviously, over the years they've changed. So, this is Fred, or the third Doctor Who, as you may know him. He died before I was born, so I was raised on stories of all his amazing adventures. Like the Doctor, he was involved with the military units, not like evil military, but he completely hated authority. He disobeyed orders during the war to save a friend and instead ended up with a bullet in his leg. He loved to travel and kind of went all around the world, taking my gran as his companion. Like the third Doctor, he also had an interesting fashion sense and a tendency to overact everything. This is my gran. She was the best person I've ever known. She was a cross between Miss Marple and Ellen Ripley. Like Miss Marple, she knew everything about everybody, but she gave very little away. She couldn't stand programmes like Jeremy Kyle, she just turned them off. She always knew my mum was pregnant, even before she did. She was like Ripley from Alien because she once took down my 6-foot stepdad who was beating the crap out of my mum using just a handbag and a witty one-line. She also had a deep trust for technology and especially robots. This is my dad, or Darth Vader, so as you can guess, absentee father. I used to dream that my dad would be someone really cool. When he finally started writing to me, I found out he was Darth Vader. Like Darth Vader, he's part of an evil cult. He's often sends his stormtroopers around to my house. You may know them as doorstep preachers. So far he hasn't chopped off my hand, but we did have a pretty epic battle about me reading Harry Potter. Him and his wife pretty much hate me, but I'm hoping for a final battle where he reveals his good side. So this is just hang around and look at this beautiful cartoon. This is my mum. She's a mix of Clementine and Dory. I love her, but she is the master of forgetting things. When I was 2 weeks old, she left me in mother care. She did come back for me, eventually. She does remember the good things there, and she once pretended to forget when her graduation ceremony was so she could come and support me at a ballet exam. Like Clementine, she kind of does things on the spur of the moment without thinking about the consequences. She has 6 children. She loves us all dearly, but piss her off or be mean to her children and she turns into Sarah Connor from Terminator. This is my brother Sean. He's lovely, he's completely laid back, he's like the guy from Pineapple Express. He smokes way too much pot and is totally content to play computer games all day and surf the internet. You won't meet a happier person. He'd do anything for anybody, but sometimes this gets him into trouble. I once asked him to get me something from a cupboard and then locked him inside. Unfortunately, I couldn't undo the lock and had to tell our mum. Another example of me being horrible to my brother is that he let me dye his hair when he was 6 years old with red food colouring. He had white blonde hair, he wasn't impressed. This is my other brother Darren. He's an odd mix of Ron Burgundy and Alan Partridge. He's a little bit sexist, but my sister-in-law puts him into place. He kind of always says the wrong thing at the wrong time, but he always gets away with it somehow. Everybody just loves him. Like Ron, he has terrible taste in colours and facial hair. He often does things which he immediately regrets, such as pissing me off. I wiped his FIFA complete progress on the computer and blamed it on a faulty disk. He still doesn't know it was me. This is my sister Katie. She reminds me a lot of Starbuck from the new Battlestar Galactica, not the weird old one with Dirk, whatever his name is. She's got a really bad temper when she's pushed, and before she had a baby, she absolutely loved to get drunk and get into arguments. She also had a bit of a kind of death wish and couldn't see how important she was to all those people around her. Like Starbucks, she had to spend quite a lot of time in hospital, but she never let that get her down, and she kind of came back even more kick-ass than before. I still wouldn't want to get into a fight with her. So, admire these beautiful pictures. Oh, there we go. Michael is my little brother. He's quite like Malcolm from Malcolm in the Middle, but he's not the middle child, he just gets treated like one. He's constantly embarrassed by our family, and he'll probably kill me if I knew he was doing this talk tonight. He's really clever, and as a result has to do all the IT support for our family. Sometimes when one places unrealistic expectations on him, I think she hopes he's going to be the Prime Minister one day. He's kind of a little bit like Steve from American Dad, but that's more in looks than anything else, and I do think he may need therapy when he's older. This is my little sister Connie. She's the baby of our family. She's just lovely. She's exactly like Kaylee from Firefly. She has such a positive outlook on life and is constantly looking for the best in people. When it comes to technology and building things, she's absolutely irrelevant. You can just leave her to do that. But this has led to some of her girly people around her being really nasty, but she just rises above it and smiles. Connie's also the only sibling I don't mind failing in front of, because she never holds it against you and she's really positive and kind of pushes you on, and as a result I've done some very silly things like signing up to go bouldering, which scares the crap out of me. I haven't written anything for this last slide, I just want you to imagine what Christmas is like. It's interesting. Basically, Ron and Starbuck never speak to each other. Steve kind of hates Ron too. We've got, like, all the other people just get on fine, but yeah.